So, just waiting on the pterodon to finish. Whilst we have, we're going to kill ourselves a turtle to get the keratin to make the saddle. A little bit more hide, so we can make ourselves up some hide armor now. And there we go. Now this is still where I logged off last time. As it is, I've meant to have gone to sleep, but I haven't quite yet. So we've still got both forges going, making up metal. We've done a few more engrams. We've got the guns unlocked now. And I suppose we could get the fabricator unlocked by now, but we haven't done that yet. We've still got a lot of engram points left, so we'll probably be doing that at some point today. But the other thing today we'll probably be doing is actually finding a main location, rather than this one, which of course was just temporary, so we could get some metal in. And so we'll probably be building ourselves a raft, maybe, finding a new location, and going from there. And there's our pterodon. So, last thing I want to do before I logged off, put a saddle on it, back to them, take it inside. However, of course, as usual, I'm completely overloaded. Well, I'm not, but for the pterodon I am. Pop, there we go, nice and simple. Hey, Mr. Pterodon, thank you. And there we go. We're in the air. And it does fit in. Bonus. There we go. And before we forget, out of this one, let's take the arrows, wherever they are. I've got meat left anyway. And we'll take some meat for the pterodon, because now I'm logging off. Although thanks to the magic of technology, you lot shall see me in but a few minutes. But a few minutes? God, that'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? Just waiting for a few minutes. No, you lot shall see me straight away again. So, catch you in a second. And we're back on. Just putting ourselves down a raft so that when we do find a new location, we can sail any resources to it that we need. And for those of you that are actually listening, of course, on the first part of this video, my audio wasn't exactly great. It was sadly a lot quieter for the voice than it should have been, and was pretty much muffled out by the sounds in game. So we didn't record a bit more, and we actually went on for what I'm doing now, which is a voiceover afterwards. In future episodes we have got more of it where we're actually doing the voiceover during the game and at a decent level, but for now we're just going to do a voiceover just to explain to you where we've been and what we've seen. At the moment, of course, we're trying to get a tapagera, and I didn't have any trank arrows, so I just try and knock it out by fist. Didn't work, in level 15, so survival of the fittest there. Oh well. Anyway, moving on. What we're doing is we're going down the west coast. There's a few places I considered. This spot right here with the little inlet would have been nice if we'd blocked off the end. At one point we could have had a nice little area for water tames as well, but I've built there before, so it wasn't really something I wanted to do again. At the moment, of course, we're stopping to get some drops on the way as well, and as usual, there's always going to be something trying to attack you. Thankfully, our pterodon's just about able to look after itself, even though it's low level. And as these are dilos, it's not exactly a difficult thing to do. Yeah. So, as I said, of course, in this episode we will be doing a voiceover. In future ones, we will be recording a lot more of it with actual, let's say, live audio to it rather than voiceovers afterwards. However, now and then there will be bits where I'm recording audio in afterwards, for the simple fact of if it's during the day and the kids are running around, or if it's at the wrong times that I'm playing, I've just jumped on or something rather than having my headset, then I will record important bits to show you rather than not show you. But I probably won't be actually doing the voice, doing the audio talking at the same time. So for instance, these bits, right now this was another attempt we went for an RG, and I've got to admit I was surprised that it did 213 damage with a crossbow. This is a standard primitive crossbow, so it must have just been a headshot or something, and again maybe, but wasn't quite expecting that. Now another thing to point out is I've got my pterodon, as you saw there, on passive and following me. Eventually, yes, an RG can kill a pterodon, but if you're watching how much damage it's doing, is that 20 damage a time? Well, I believe my pterodon was on to a couple of thousand health at this point, so it can tank a lot. And when you get to traps eventually, one idea is to actually lure the Argentavis into the trap, and then you can pretty much always knock them out before they'll kill the pterodon, so you don't necessarily need to fly your pterodon back out. And that is something I've done before, and something I actually do when I built my trap up later. To give you a few spoilers here, I'm actually doing the voiceover whilst I've recorded a lot more of the gameplay. I'm actually on to episode 4, episode 5's worth of video at the moment, but with everything going on, then it's been a little bit hectic. At the same time, I've actually been adding people onto the server and sorting out a few bits and doing a couple of challenges here and there, not to mention birthdays over weekend and such, so it has been busy. Now, I do apologise to you that it's been a little bit hectic with this, but it's something we're hoping to get into again with a little more regularity. Now, as you can see, of course, the RG's really not doing well at the moment. This is only from the crossbow shots. It's not getting a single hit from the pterodon because that's on passive. But yeah, there we go, level 80, and it still died. So we'll just collect up the bits from it, collect whatever it had on it. Don't forget at this point as well that Argentavis claws are worth keeping, as you'll need them for some of the boss fights. And we're coming down here to the snow area. Now, this island in front of me was where I originally considered. I like the idea of maybe having a big wall around the edge there on the raised snow, having a main base bit on the flat bit there, and there's a couple of little access areas to the water. But it was a bit too sloped for me, and also I didn't really like the idea of chopping off that much area that penguins can spawn on, or the kairuku, and the oil spawned on. So we left it, and we actually decided to go for this area here. So starting off, of course, I decided on the simplest bits, which is just put myself across a fence line to keep other dinosaurs out. We're using the new fence foundations here, which are meant to keep everything level. And to be honest, I found they were a real pig. For one, it was really hard to see where they were actually facing in the snow. And for two, it was really hard to get them to actually snap together, at least side by side. As you can see here, they'd snap 90 degrees, they'd snap 45 degrees. But going that way really wasn't that easy. And as you saw there, looking them face on seems to be the only way to get them to snap that way. So here was causing a bit of a problem. I believe that was not the right spot if you look how close they are, hence why the walls are overlapping there. Of course, at the same time, to point it out, we are using the 4 high walls, which is, let's face it, a godsend for making up quick outposts and that, and the fact that if it's the wrong way around or anything, you're not wasting the resources, you can pick it up within the 30 seconds. That's really helpful as well. So, you know, these extra little bits on the S Plus that they've added with the Homestead definitely made it easier and more helpful for building bases. At the moment, this was literally doing my head in for a long time, and I think even by the end of it I managed to get to the stage of I had them up, and yet the sections above had a slight difference in where they lined up. I don't know, but this is something I think I need to actually spend a bit more time figuring out at another stage. For now, of course, we just want something up, a gate and everything, so we've got the secure area back here so dinosaurs can't just wander in when I'm offline. So slowly and slowly, lots of perseverance, much cursing, probably a good thing I wasn't recording this live, and we did actually manage to get this sorted. Flying back now, we have got that wall done. We've also built up a little standard trap, which, if anyone's wondering how we do them, it's pretty much the same as I've been using since my first season. It's a little box, 2x6, and then it's got the walls up, ceilings on top, it's got a gate each end. We get in there, and the only difference with this one is, rather than just a normal door, it has the double doors that you can walk in through. Not these ones at the end, these are of course the dinosaur gates. I mean, on the side I have a double door so I can walk in and out without having to open the gates. Now, one thing to point out is, for speed, I made mine up with the large walls, which are the 4 pieces high ones. I'd recommend not doing that. Or if you're going to, at least first off putting down your door that you want to get in and out of for quick access or quick exit, and then putting a row of windows, then putting the 4 highs on top of that, because otherwise you're stuck in a position like I am here where you've only got the doorway to shoot through. And although that's helpful at this point, it wasn't later on. Now of course I managed to get that one tamed. It was only a level 10 just to test the concept of the trap. So we're just going to get it down to the other side. As of course, trying to get it just to follow me through a gate, it just gets stuck on the gate and sits there on the frame and just stares at you with its head sticking through the wall. Here's one of the extra foundations. I mentioned this earlier, so we'll just get rid of that. And we've got a drop over there. So we're going to take our pterodon over, have a look at the drop, see what goodies we can get, as there's never too much loot to be gained. Now of course, as I said, we've only got that level 10 one. I think it came out as a level 14 RG, so we are also going to be keeping an eye out for other RGs. And by sheer luck, over at the drop, a level 145 female. So we end up grabbing the drop, which wasn't really anything too fantastic, but a couple of trank arrows never goes amiss. And then we're going to bait this one to come and chase us over to go in the trap again. One important thing to remember is always leave the doors open on at least one side of your trap once you're finished. And if you're in a server and you put it in a public place, it's always a nice courtesy to actually leave your doors unlocked to all. So we've managed to get our RG, the level 145 female, following the pterodon. We don't mind taking a couple of pecks at it. At the end of the day, the pterodon has full health at the moment, and even if it took quite a few knocks, it's going to last quite a long time. So all we've got to do is just kite this one slowly back to the trap. And at the moment, of course, there are trees and such in the way of the trap, which means it's more figuring out from experience where it is. Later on I end up extending my base out, and so of course it stops the spawning of the trees and makes it a lot easier. Important thing is of course making sure you keep your traps far enough away from your base so that whilst you're dragging the things in and maybe letting your pterodon get nipped once or twice here and there, that it doesn't end up aggroing the rest of your creatures that you've already got tamed and they can attack it, because that can just turn into a hell of a mess, let's say. I was going to say a certain sort of storm, but we're trying to stay polite. Now we got it in. Of course it's not exactly the easiest things to see with it flying around with you, and especially in the dark. And as it was, we decided with this one to leave the pterodon in there. As I said, the pterodon's got a decent bit of health, so with the RG only doing 20 damage at a time, it's not really a problem. And as I said to you, of course, when you've only got the double doors to shoot through, this does actually become a little bit of a piggish job. And as it was, I think one more hit there and I would have been dead. So I'll leave it a while to heal myself up before I'm getting too close, but thankfully where she's stuck in the corner up there, makes it nice and easy to get a few shots on it without having to worry too much. And of course, because we're out in the snow and I'm freezing to death and I haven't got any torches on me, I'm going to put this down a sleeping bag just so I can simply spawn straight to that. To be honest, I think I rushed into this so much I don't think I've actually even put a base down my a bed down inside my base area over there yet. So yes, as well, the RG is of course damaging my wooden structure, but considering it's doing 12 a time to the wooden pieces and they're like a couple of thousand each, then I don't really need to worry about that. At the end of the day, I'll lose just as much on decay eventually. So we will see how this goes. Pretty much just keep shooting it until it eventually decides that it's bored, tries running away, at which point you can go inside, because whilst the animals are running, they won't actually attack you. So fun fact, if you do this with something like a T-Rex and you actually walk under it, then even when it's running away, stepping on you will actually hurt you. So not too many more arrows hopefully, but then again this is a level 145, so it's worth the wait. If we can get it tamed up perfectly, then it will come in at a nice high level. Now it's just stuck on our pterodon, so we'll make the most of that. And as I said, of course, the pterodon, even if it had taken hits the whole time until this thing started to run away, would have been perfectly fine. Now, for those of you who didn't notice there, I did actually manage to put one more arrow into it after it had knocked out. Ideally, of course, you don't want that to happen because you'll lose some of the taming efficiency, but with how high it is and the fact that it was one arrow and that I've only got a level, whatever that is, 15 Argentavis and the pterodon at the moment, I didn't care. I wanted that one, and I wasn't going to lose sleep about the 5% efficiency or something I was going to lose. Now, this looks really quite amusing. It almost looks like I'm actually attacking my level 14 Argentavis, and the sad fact is I am. I could have gone around and looked for some meat, but that Argentavis wasn't very strong, so wouldn't have been able to get much attacking it. The pterodon really isn't that strong, so quickest way for me to get some prime meat was simply to cull the weakling, and sadly that meant our level 14 Argentavis went. Now, of course, I should have changed over to the pick. For those of you who don't know, you get better meat with a pick. But skipping on a little bit here, this one's actually the next one that we tamed up, which is actually a 145 male that we found and dragged in pretty much the exact same way, apart from we did manage to get the pterodon to dodge out. So, we're going to wrap up this episode in a second. We've got our 145 that we're flying, although of course they've come out as level 200 and something. The other one actually came out higher because that one didn't lose taming efficiency by getting shot too many times. But we've got ourselves a nice little Alpha Carno over here, and I figured as we had the two of them together we might as well see how well they did. So here we go. I can't remember at the moment, to be fair, if the other one's actually on attack or if it's just on follow. Looking at it, it's just on follow, so I do actually realise that in a bit and give it the whistle command to attack as well. I just put it on neutral so that we both attack. It was much easier. But I mean, you can see I'm doing 216 damage a time with this at the moment, so you know, I can't really complain at that. And at the end of the day, when I've got two of them doing it, 216 and 225, then we're going to plough through most things quite quickly. In fact, if you look at how bloody this Alpha Carno is already. Now, the one thing to remember is, of course, if you're attacking an Alpha on your bird, the bird doesn't actually get the graded equipment on it. That ends up going into your inventory. So I thought at first that I just simply managed to fill up on crap and I hadn't got any graded equipment off that, so I was a little bit gutted. But of course it went into my inventory, which I'm not 100% sure what it was, but I believe from killing that I managed to get myself a graded blueprint for a crossbow. Anyway, we're going to leave it there, people. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.